Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to the Virtual Institute for Capacity Building Higher Education. We are in Module 3. We just started Module 3 January 31st, 2022 on theory, practice, and future directions of academic planning in higher education. I'm Peter Okebukola, as I said during the introduction, and today we are going to be following up on the series. We've had planning a private university from scratch. We had planning a state university from scratch, planning a federal university from scratch, and now we're going to be planning a continental university from scratch. And if you see Algeria, Mali, all of these countries, they have their own universities. But we now want to plan and implement a university at a continental level from scratch. It's a 10-step process. And these are the 10 steps: conduct of the feasibility study, approval by the heads of state and government, agreement on the structure and programs. Council will have to be inaugurated as step 4. This host country agreements will have to be signed, because this continental university is going to be different locations, different host countries. Number 6, the statutes and other regulations of the university will have to be established. The foundation principal officers and other staff will have to be recruited. Then the institutes will have to take off their media students. And the 10th step is the matriculation. This lesson is planning a university, a continental university from scratch, from concept to matriculation. So these 10 steps cover this. Let's begin with the feasibility, the concept. Now, the concept of having a university for the whole of our region, of our continent, that's Africa, came up in a meeting in 2003 in Johannesburg, South Africa. The African Ministerial Conference on Science and Technology met and they reflected, where are we going to be getting the people for driving science and technology agenda of our continent? And so the ministers agreed, it was unanimous, that the continent should own, the African Union should own a university that will help to improve the quality of science education and thereby improve productivity of African economies. And then there was a concept note from that meeting which outlined the objectives of what they gave the name as Pan-African University. This university was also inspired by a number of instruments. The second decade of education for Africa, its plan of action, 2016-2015, also came up with that concept. Let's have a university that is owned by all of us in the continent. And then there's a consolidated plan of action for science and technology, 2006-2011. It also has elements of the establishment, the concept. Then African Union's Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And the Science and Technology and Innovation Strategy for Africa 2024. Now, I recall that in 2009, at the UNESCO World Conference on Education, where I served as Rapporteur General for Africa, I hinted to the entire conference that I conveyed the thinking in Africa of the establishment of the Pan-African University. This was me 16 years ago, 2009. This was me 13 years ago. I look very old now, very old. But man must get old. The second step, we talk about the concept. We talk about the feasibility. Say, yes, it is feasible. Now, the heads of state and government of Africa, 55 countries, 54 at that time. Now, through this instrument of AU, this DEC 290, this reference, formally established the Pan-African University in July of 2010. Now, let me tell you something interesting. Nigeria had a Pan-African University. I recall that I was the executive secretary of the National Universities Commission that licensed that university. But when the big man, African Union, now came with the same name, so Nigeria had to change the name to Pan what did you say? Yeah, Pan-Atlantic. And I actually like that one too. Pan-Atlantic University is one of our foremost universities in Nigeria, especially for entrepreneurship and business studies. Now, the African Union established this to create a high quality institutions that promote to create high quality institutions that promote quality training, research, and innovation within Africa, ensure a steady nurturing of new ideas, and also a continuous injection of highly skilled human resources to meet the development needs of the continent. That is what our presidents, our prime ministers, the heads of state and government agreed July 2010 when Pan African University was established. It was established to be strictly postgraduate, master's, PhD, and other postgraduate programs. And I can see from the logo that was approved, you have is a network. The institutes are here, and you can see the way they are connected. Pan African University, Université Pan Africaine, nurturing quality, exemplifying excellence. Can we go to step 3? Yes, we can. Step 3 is the agreement on the structure and the programs. Yes, the owners, the heads of state and governments, yes, let's have it. But how are we going to structure it? So it's agreed, as I showed in the logo, that we'll have thematic areas, water and energy sciences, including climate change, to be here in Nigeria. The rectorate was to be in Addis. That's moved to Cameroon now. I'm talking about the start, for starting what we had at the start. Life and health sciences. I will come to this, but you can see the geographical distribution that everybody in the different regions will be happy. So PAU, in terms of structure, is a unitary academic research innovation institution, one, but has footprints in these areas. And as you can see, we have the different institutes. Let's talk about the institutes in more detail. Now, the institute that's in Kenya is hosted by the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and is called the Pan African Institute for Basic Sciences, Technology and Innovation, PAU. The one in Ibadan, our great country, Nigeria, attended the University of Ibadan. I'm happy to have schooled University of Ibadan for my first, second, and third degrees. Is the Pan African Institute for Life and Health Sciences, including Health and Agriculture, PAULESI. The one that is hosted by Cameroon is the Institute for Governance, Humanities, and Social Sciences. The other one in the northern part of the region of the continent, hosted in Algeria by University of Tlemcen, is Pan African Institute for Water and Energy Sciences, including climate change. And then the one that is coming up is the one to be hosted by University in the Republic of South Africa, that's the Institute for Space Sciences. So these are the institutes for Pan-African University. When in full operation, now these will be linked, each of these two will be linked to 10 satellite centers. And with the full operation, we're going to have 50 centers of excellence under the 5 thematic hubs. How wonderful this is. Well planned. Well planned. Step 4 is inauguration of council. So what's the council like? What's the composition? You have a president, that's like chairman of council. You have vice president, like I'm talking about the Nigerian label now. Vice president will be like deputy chair of council, the commissioner for human resources, science and technology. This has changed to education, science and technology. Vice chancellors or vice rectors of the host institution. That's the institution hosting the institute. And you have the rest like this. And you see, I like this number 9. A representative from each of the regional economic communities. So regional economic community will have to say, this man, you go and represent us. So you can see the broad representation of this. I was nominated to represent ECOWAS. And so I got this letter that on the 25th of June 2015, were to be inaugurated as a foundation council. This is the Foundation Council. Let me move this over here. That's Foundation Council of Pan-African University. You have the commissioner there. This is the Peter Okebukola representing ECOWAS. This is the rector and the directors of the different thematic partners. So this is the council. And this was one of our sittings in October. Let's move this up. In October 2015, we had several meetings. So that's one of the things relating to the planning. We had several meetings. So this is the meeting. That's the chair. This another session that we had here. This is me over there, and this is the commissioner. This is my good friend, from Algeria. By 2017, this was the council, and we have a commissioner for education, science, and technology, Professor Sarah Agbo from Cameroon. Very forthright woman, brilliant, and she guided council so very well. This Professor Toli Boite, the president of council, who sadly, that's he on the left here, passed on. So the next step, that's the 5 of 10, is signing the host country agreement. It's a continental university with footprints in different regions, and the footprints are in particular universities in those countries. So they have to sign a host country agreement. So you want to host our institute? Well, no problem. You have to provide support for its operations and other clauses, other provisions in that host country agreement. So agreements were signed for the country of Algeria, in Nigeria, in Cameroon. You have Kenya there, and South Africa, coming up. Step 6 is the establishment of the statutes and other regulations. I'm happy to confirm that our council put in place this final version of 20 October 2015, the statute of the Pan-African University. We have PAU academic rules and regulations, just like the academic brief. The strategic plan, we have moved very well in there, procedures, manual and financial management system, and the research policy. All of these ones move very, very well. Step 7 is the recruitment of foundation principal officers and other staff. So this was diligently carried out by the African Union Commission in partnership with Council. Professor Bele Kassel was appointed interim deputy rector. He stayed on to be acting rector until he retired. The directors were appointed. Other staff, like I see on the screen, were appointed. Academic staff were recruited for these institutes, mostly on part-time basis. Then step 8 of 10, the takeoff of the institutes. So the institutes in the 5 areas where they took off, except the one for South Africa, though, directors and foundation staff were in place, and basic facilities were in place. And then step 9 is the admission of students. Oh, we had large army of applicants, and that's our first set of students, and we have this that's 512 in total, 395 masters and 117 PhD for our first admission. So you can see them here by institute, and then these are the PhDs. And the last step is the matriculation of our first set of students. So that's what you can see on the screen, and you're able to see here that the matriculation took place in the different institutes, and the vice chancellor, deputy vice chancellor of the host institution administered like you can see, all new students are to participate fully by taking the oath of matriculation and sign the matriculation register before being formally recognized as bona fide students of the institution, and so entitled to all rights and privileges. If you read this one, you find that DVC of the institution, Ibadan, Professor Kayode Oyebode, who is now the vice chancellor, by the way, administered the oath and all of this. The same for the others. Now, what are the challenges? Not in any order, but what I think is a major challenge is difficulty with recruiting full-time academic staff of good quality in the right quantity. You see, many will not want to leave their comfort zones of the universities that they are currently in to venture into a university that is new, where they don't know what is going to happen, so they want to put their leg here and put their finger in another place. So it has been difficult to get full-time academic staff to disengage from the original place to get full tenure, in the new Pan-African University. Including that of the rector and the vice rector, you get, not that you didn't have candidates, but you didn't have candidates that were of immense stature. Because when you enter a room of vice chancellors, you will expect that the vice chancellor of the Pan-African University should stand academically, managerially taller than the vice chancellor. When you say rector, is the equivalent, is the same name, is the same equivalent, the French, rector. The rector is the chief executive of Pan-African University. So you'll expect that to happen. So not to come into the place, University of Ibadan vice chancellor would now come into University of Zimbabwe, or University come into a room containing vice chancellors, and he sees the rector of Pan-African University being one person who was senior lecturer yesterday in their place and being given an appointment. So that's something that is the issue. Then the slow rate of curriculum re-engineering to meet the emerging needs of the African continent. You see, the curriculum should be dynamic enough to be responding. You see, the graduates that we're anticipating should come to run the Africa we want are graduates with new skills, new orientation, but not the same stereotypical thing that we have. So the curriculum of the Pan-African University will have to be re-engineered quickly to meet the emerging needs of within the framework of Agenda 2063. And slow rate of infrastructural development on account of funding, we're not having enough of the speedy investment, speedy growth of infrastructure that will befit the Continental University. Weak sustainability of funding, governance issues relating to multi-campus university. Rectorate is now in Cameroon. We have footprints in the different regions in Africa. So that kind of coordination will bring its own set of challenges. Not that they're not surmountable, but they will still be there. Lack of opportunity for accreditation. The accreditation of the programs of the institutes will be largely that of the National Quality Assurance Agency. Let's take the Nigerian one, for instance. The National Universities Commission will accredit the programs in PAU. But it's important for us to have a global, a continental agency. That is not in place as I speak. But the good thing is that we're inching towards making that to happen. Then limitations, the financial and administrative autonomy of the university. How will these challenges be overcome? I have a few suggestions. We have to make, and the planners, you are academic planners attending this training, please note some of these suggestions. We have to make, in planning, you have to make the condition of service for full-time staff more attractive, because people will not want to leave their comfort zones, as I mentioned earlier, to go to a place that, in quotes, or no. There's a need to urgently review the curriculum so it's aligned with the current and future needs of Africa. Artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and so many exciting programs. The graduates of tomorrow are not the graduates that will be producing with the old programs. So this will need to be speedily attended to. We need huge investment to develop infrastructure to make the Pan-African University Institutes, anywhere they are, to be iconic, to stand out within the host institution. Say, oh, this one, it's special. It's a Pan-African University. We need to speed up the process of establishment of that continental agency for accrediting the programs. That agency is known as the Pan-African Quality Assurance and Accreditation Agency. I'm happy to let you know that the process is moving very fast. to attaining the establishment of that agency. And a more sustainable funding model will have to be in place. We want to build capacity and keep strengthening the capacity of all staff. And the autonomy of the university should be improved under the governance of council. What are the lessons for academic planners attending this training? First is that the academic brief for a continental university should be well thought out with programs that are both contemporary and future-oriented for the continent. Not, you see, we talked about state universities in the series, federal universities, private universities. Yes, those are national, within national boundaries, but this one is continental. So the academic brief will have to reflect that continentality. Oh, is there a word like that? Well, of course, we can manufacture some words as we like it. Continentality, yes. Now, you should plan as an academic planner to engage and attractively remunerate high-quality human resources, especially professors. You want the professor to leave. Professor is almost like is like 60 or 65 to retire at 70 in a university in Nigeria. And when you come to Pan-African University, you start afresh. Oh, you got to make that condition, that jump to be attractive for that professor. You have to plan for a funding model that is sustainable. Yes, the member states are contributing, and we thank them very much. But we have to be innovative and creative in getting in funding the university. For now, everybody, well, people who are admitted a scholarship. Well, that's sustainable? I don't think it is. So we should plan as academic planner not to give scholarship to all the students. Yes, the students who are indigent, students that you can prove, students who are high in their CGPAs, graduation, first degree, yes, but not everybody or not all comers. It's not sustainable. You should plan for ICT infrastructure. You know, a multi-campus environment demands that when Senate is meeting, Senate of a particular, you need technology. So investment in technology will help to improve the efficiency of governance. So academic planners, please make a note of that. And in planning a continental multi-campus university, dear academic planners attending this training, it demands, I want you to know that it demands extensive diplomatic consultations. You got to be diplomatic because it takes a lot of horse trading. Okay, you want it in Ibadan. Why don't you put it in Ghana? Why don't you put it in Sierra Leone? If you want something in West Africa, so a lot of horse trading, a lot of diplomatese. Another word. I don't come up with another word. So what's the future of the Pan-African University? I'm telling you, after being part of the initial conception in some form of this university, to date, we had a council meeting a few days ago. It's exceedingly bright, but under some conditionalities, not IMF conditionalities, under some conditionalities that the people who own the university, the African member states, to put the money where their mouth is. Yes, they are contributing. We should sustain that contribution. And the council and management of the University of Pan-African University should stay on course with the vision and mission of the university. On that note, I thank you all for being part of planning a continental university from scratch, from concept to first matriculation. From Peter Okebukola, it's bye. Bye-bye.